Our next movie is the 1979 classic horror movie Alien, which, as we know, it debuts the character of Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, and features that most disgusting alien that came to be known as the Xenomorph. As the story goes, a team of 7 is on their way back home from a mining trip, and when they get a mysterious message that puts them on this unknown planet to investigate this signal. Of course, things go wrong, and one of the crew members returns on board with a very disgusting creature wrapped to his face. Soon, all of them will be in the fight for their lives against a merciless killing machine that seems to be unstoppable. This is rightly regarded as a classic simply because it's just so damn scary. Every scene drips with atmosphere. Ridley Scott has always been a great visual director, and he makes every shot count. And, it's very well paced. It starts out slow with, basically monotony. And he just slowly ratchets up the tension. And I gotta say it, this movie creature scares me to death simply on sight. Most horror movie creatures or serial killers, work because they're lurking off in the backgrounds, and they're, seen obliquely. Here, this creature, which was designed by H.R. Geiger from his Night Terrors, is just plain scary on sight. And Ridley Scott is so careful about how he shows that, how much of the creature he shows, so we get a full idea of it, but we rarely actually see the complete creature. And, it's vicious, it's intelligent, and that's what makes it so scary. It's not the gore. I mean, it is essentially, a monster in the house, movie where people are picked off one by one, but it's done so well here, and I give it a 3.5 out of 4.
Okay. For me, it's a 4-star classic, and I know earlier in the show I said I rarely would give a horror film anything above a 3, but for me, a 4-star classic, and that's because of so much of what you mentioned, and I think I've heard this movie called maybe as a tagline, but Jaws in space, and it really does fit in some ways when you have it points a lot of restraint shown in what they reveal, but making it all the more scarier then when the monster is eyeing seen, and the ability to have the monsters have that feeling of having intelligence on top of being just a ruthless killing machine, to where it makes it all the more terrifying.
Yeah. And what I like about it is he knows all the tricks to get us on, keep us on edge. People in closed spaces, low light, not being able to see where you're going or see where your enemy is, and it's those very simple tricks, that really, scare us. A lot of the directors these days try to use, buckets of blood or special effects to scare us, but it's really the old school techniques that really do the job. Yes. And that's what I think makes it such a terrifying experience.
Yes, absolutely. And I know James Cameron is very proud of his Sarah Connor female action superhero character, but this predates this. Ellen Ripley is what a lot of people think of when it comes to that first, at least mainstream. Now we know like Cameron was doing like the Foxy Brown characters and these smaller films and stuff, but as far as like bringing it to the mainstream and never thinking for a second that this female cannot actually kick the amount of butt that she does and be as tough as she is, and that's why I think also this movie is beloved and a classic, because that character is
Right.
so monumental.
He took the character and expanded upon it. She was really just kind of like, the last survivor, in Alien, which isn't really giving anything away because it's kind of obvious.
Yes.
But, but it's when she, went to Aliens where she really took off. But here, Sigourney Weaver gives a very strong performance. Tom Skerritt's very good. All the cast is wonderful. And what's really special about this movie that you mentioned is that it came in an era in which audiences really were not prepared for it. Star Wars came out 2 years before that. Light space operas were all the rage, and here's this little movie that mixed science fiction with graphic horror, and it was, I can only imagine, what audiences would have felt like at that time. But even today, it has lost none of its bite, and it's a great movie.
Yes. I know. Yeah, that's the biggest compliment you can give a film like this. That 30 years on, it still has the intensity. Even when you've seen it so many times that when the jump scares are coming, when
right?
The deaths are coming, but the tension still works.
Right. That is the mark of a great movie, and Alien is one.
Absolutely.
All right.